And they first of all say that they're all of a sudden out of their body and that we don't even lose consciousness when we die. And then they pass through this dark tunnel toward the light, and they go into the octave of light. And once they're in that octave of light, they begin to connect with the beings of light, with their loved ones that have crossed over, and they begin to awaken and remember all of this divine knowledge. Well, this tunnel that they pass through is the sea of negativity around the planet. And what that is, it's the accumulation of humanity's negative thought forms, negative behavior patterns, all of the discord and the human miscreations that we have created inadvertently because we didn't know any better and because we forgot that we were God beings. So when you're doing your meditation, see a tremendous shaft of light enveloping you, passing through this realm of darkness into the light, so that this is just like this mighty pillar that you go up and down, just like in an elevator, passing through the psychic astral realm of confusion into the realms of illumined truth, and then ask for guidance from that dimension, and ask that nothing from that lower realm of chaos come through you when you're reaching up for inner guidance. And then don't worry if you don't get anything just that moment. Just be open and receptive, and as you go about your day, ideas will pop into your mind. You'll start seeing the same old problem in a new way, with fresh eyes, with new viable solutions that you hadn't thought of before. Sometimes it'll be in your sleep that you'll seek out the answers for that, and when you wake up in the morning, you'll have the answer to your question or what you're asking. When we ask for that assistance, the floodgates of heaven open. And the only reason we haven't really known that or heard it as clearly is because we have forgotten that we have the ability to do that. So we talk ourselves out of that guidance and that information. We think, oh, that's just my imagination, or oh, that's just my wishful thinking or something. So trust, know, open, protect yourself, and it's going to happen. The beings of light are anxiously awaiting the opportunity to work with you, all of us, on a conscious level.
Eric in the chat room is asking, can meditating in a room affect other people who visit that room later on?
Absolutely. It shifts the consciousness of the room. That's why it's wonderful to create a sacred space for yourself and to do your meditations in the same place. The energy builds and builds and builds in momentum. That's why, when they talk about these magnificent cathedrals or churches or sacred sites or PowerPoints on the planet, is that people have gone there time and time again, and they've invoked the light, and the light stays there. It doesn't go away. It stays there. So the more you meditate, the more you create an environment in the room, and your loved ones will come in and they'll experience that. They'll feel greater peace. They'll feel greater harmony. It absolutely shifts the room. And you can ask when you're doing your meditation, if you're doing it in your home, ask that it expand to envelop your entire home, so that not just in your sacred space where you meditate, but in the kitchen and when you're in the laundry room and everywhere, you've created a more peaceful, loving environment for yourself.
Okay, that's great. I completely agree with you. And there is another question. It says, is there different ways people can meditate? If so, can you explain how?
There are all different kinds of ways that people can meditate. Sometimes people meditate by walking in nature and just allowing that beauty of nature to caress them, and that's when they quiet their mind enough to feel like they're in a beautiful meditative state. Sometimes it's exercising. Sometimes it's swimming. There's a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's reading inspirational books or listening to CDs or doing visualizations or something like that just calm you enough to and then pretty soon you're letting go what you're reading on the page and other information is coming through you, or you're letting go what you're hearing in the meditation on the CD and other information is coming through you. So don't limit yourself. I mean, I know that a lot of the older teachings said that, you need to meditate 8 hours a day or whatever, and focus on your breath for the whole time. And there was a time when things were so dense and so dark that probably is exactly what we needed to do. But now it's becoming more and more rarefied. Our consciousness is raised up. We are lifting up higher, so it's not taking as long. The beings of light have come through the veil to meet us halfway, so everything is being greatly accelerated. So quiet yourself and see what works for you. Experiment in a lot of different ways and see what works for you.
Thank you so much for that. We also have another question from the chat room. It says, can people meditate differently, like laying down, sitting?
Absolutely. Your type of meditation is all that you need to worry about. You don't need to follow anybody else's method. But if you lay down to meditate and you fall asleep every time, then try sitting up, because falling asleep is not meditating. Not that it's not okay to meditate and fall asleep when you're going to sleep at night and to let a meditation take you into that restful sleep. But when you're trying to communicate and connect with the higher realms on a conscious level, it's better to stay awake. So sometimes just listening to really beautiful music, or as I said, walking in nature or swimming or doing something that keeps you focused and yet not distracted from your meditation might be a better thing to do. But yes, there's no right and perfect way for every person to meditate.
What projects are you working on right now?
The project that I'm working on right now is the World Congress on Illumination this year. There's going to be a lot of things that go on this year. The World Congress this year is going to take place in August on the island of Kauai. And what's going to take place at that event is that there are a lot of shifts that are taking place. What took place in 2011 is that because of the collective consciousness of humanity, awakened light workers actually co-created a new planetary cause of divine loves, which means that now new frequencies of love are coming into the planet that are going to greatly help shift the consciousness. And that is going to, an acceleration of that, creating a new planetary cause of love in the physical, a new order of the day for the planet, greatly expanding the patterns of love in the physical plane, is going to occur in August. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on. And in addition to that, I'm doing several free seminars between now and August. And as I mentioned, one of them is going to be in Santa Clara, California this weekend. I am writing a new book, and I am also working on some new CDs that have information and guided visualizations and things on them as well. In addition to that, I do my own online radio show that is every Tuesday morning on BBS Radio, and you can just go to bbsradio.com. It's 10 o'clock Pacific time or 1 o'clock Eastern time, and it's like this show. It's informative, sharing information, and there's no commercials, and I just share information. I don't have guests on it, but I share information that have been given to us by the Company of Heaven. So that is another one of my projects and things that I'm working on. So, and whatever else I'm guided to do by the Company of Heaven between now and the end of the year, because this is a really important and very powerful year for all of us.
So, Patricia, how do you feel about what you do? Like, do you enjoy it? Do you know that you make an impact on people? Do you know that what you're doing is right?
Well, the response that I'm getting from people indicates that it's beneficial to them. The only thing I care about what I'm doing is to empower people to go within and connect with their own divinity and the Company of Heaven so that they can get the information directly for themselves. So my whole momentum has been to empower people to be who they are, to fulfill the divine plan of why they've come. Because I don't consider myself a channel, or I don't consider myself a psychic. I consider myself an ordinary human being who has gone within and asked enough, why is there so much pain and suffering in the world, that I have now been receiving for 35 years, wonderful information from the Company of Heaven to share it with humanity to help them awaken. But no matter how much you care about somebody or trust them or like what they're saying or how clear you think they are as a teacher, that information is still being filtered through that person's consciousness. So it's going to be different than when you're receiving that information yourself. So the most important thing, and I know that this information that's been given to us and that I've been sharing absolutely does that, is the most important thing is to empower people to receive their information directly from the source so they don't have to depend on anyone outside of themselves, so that they can be that empowered, beloved child of God that they are and forget about this fragmented, fear-based lower human ego that delves in low self-esteem and unworthiness and has been programmed to think they're a worthless sinner and a worm in the dust, all of that kind of garbage. There's nothing that is further from the truth. Every single person on this planet, regardless of how far they are from remembering it or regardless of how their behavior patterns don't reflect that, they are still a beloved child of God that just needs to awaken and remember who they are. And then their behavior patterns and everything they think and believe will be shifted dramatically toward the light, toward oneness, toward reverence for all life.
That is really beautiful. I totally agree with your message and everything that you have to say. But the show is about over. Thank you, Patricia, being on. And I wanted to tell you that we did post your website in the chat. So we hope that people can go over there and look at that. And also, this radio show will also be on YouTube. So for those who want to watch it later or listen to it in the archives, can. We're really thankful that we had you on today, Patricia. Thank you for participating with us.
Well, thank you, Megan and Isa. It's been my pleasure.
You're welcome. And the next show is going to be February the 19th, and it's going to be Tony from Sacred Spaces. So stay tuned for that show, and everybody have a great day.